Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny.
You know what time it is, so sit back and get ready for the Stafford Voice, your dose of conservative in a world of liberal.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, how are you doing tonight? I'm your host, Daniel Stafford, and you are watching or listening to the Stafford Voice, where we are conservative in a world of liberal. Tonight, we are going to talk about the Dakota access pipeline being blocked. We're going to talk about some VA employees that resigned after a Vietnam veteran died with maggots crawling around in a wound. That's right, maggots. What else do we have? We've got the bottom line. We've got profiles in history. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind you that there are many ways to listen. So set this channel as a favorite, whether it's on YouTube, and all you got to do is just hit the subscribe button and smash the like button, the thumbs up button, or you're on TuneIn or Spreaker or wherever you're at. Set the channel as a favorite, whatever you have to do, so you don't get left behind. Because if for some strange, crazy reason you do miss the show, you can catch the replay. So just sit tight. There is no need to panic because I've got you. And in the case you aren't already following on social media, you can find me over on the Twitters or Gab. Both of those, we are the same thing on both, whether it's Twitter or Gab. That is at Stafford Voice. Again, that's at Stafford Voice. If you haven't already done so and you would like to, you can jump over onto the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Snapchats, or whatever your social media preference is. And, well, just search for the Stafford Voice, and that's probably where we're at. Speaking of which, since you're going to be out on the interwebs, head over to thestaffordvoice.com, and if you haven't already done so, be sure to sign up for the newsletter. I've already begun work on December. Super excited about the possibilities of what you will see coming up. So far, I've only got the framework for the I've only got some framework done. I'm working on, let's see, in November's, I gave you guys the recipe to the cinnamon glazed pecans that I just absolutely fell in love with. And December's dessert du jour, if you will, is mug cakes. It's a cake that you can make in a coffee mug or a ceramic dish. You can even make them in a Tupperware bowl if that's your choosing. I'm absolutely addicted to them. I have to tell myself, no, I don't want one. I'm not hungry, because I could just make them like crazy and eat them up galore. They are fantastic. They are super easy to make. It's literally as easy as going 3, 2, 1, done. Anyway, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get some of that. Also, if you're watching on the YouTubes, you will notice we've gone festive. We've got our Christmas lights up. Yes, they're red. Good reason why. I see you over in the YouTube chats. John, thanks for joining us. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Hopefully you had a great weekend. We are off to a great start this week, John. Super excited you decided to join us tonight and become part of the festivities. Also, check it out. Check it out. That's right. Check out my little Ninja Turtle guy. He is watching over us tonight. It was my crude attempt at drawing a childhood cartoon, if you will. Sapper lights. Yeah. Well, they're not as explosive enough as most sappers would like to see. Glad that you have arrived safe back from drill. I appreciate that. I prayed about you over the weekend, and I tried to keep up the best I could with what you were putting out. I saw that you had to go hump on with some of your dress gear. Somebody else Blue Falconed you. If you're a military guy or gal and you don't know what a Blue Falcon is, well, hit one of us up, whether it's on Facebook or the Snapchat, or not the Snapchat, Instagram. Yes, Instagram. I see you over on the Instagrams. If you don't follow Army John, you need to. The guy is super cool, throws out awesome stuff, keeps me up to date on some of the stuff that I miss going on in the military. He said that he had nice, clean ASUs and had to move equipment that somebody Blue Falconed him. That always sucked. I don't miss that stuff. I don't miss putting in all the extra time and effort in cleaning gear, getting everything lined up, and then only to be Blue Falconed and have to throw on dirty gear. Absolutely hated it. We had our ways. The E4 Mafia, if you will, had our ways of dealing with those kind of guys. Yes, it's the Army way. Okay, we need to get things going. Sorry, I'm trying to pay attention to both of the chats. I've noticed a lot of the chatter over on the KLRN radio side of things in the chat room has, for the most part, died off. I think a lot of you guys are joining us over in the YouTube chats because you'd much rather watch. I appreciate that. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button. And if for any reason you like something that we put out, whether it's a vlog or a replay for one of the shows that you've missed, please, by all means, share it with your friends and your family. If you like it that much, give us a thumbs up and let us know. Okay, we need to get on with the show because we've got good stuff lined up. And, well, where are we at? We need to get on. It is time for the bottom line. And listen, the question is this: to burn or not to burn? Better yet, why is this even an issue? Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Trump. Not Obama, not thanks Obama, but thanks Trump. And honestly, seriously, his thumbs must have a mind of their own. They may not even share a single thought as that of the owner. You know, that guy that was sold to be the conservative choice against Clinton, the communist. And maybe I'm a bit off my rocker when I say this, but he's wrong. Yes, Trump is wrong. I know that a lot of you Trump sympathizers are going to jump all over me for that, but he's wrong. When he recently tweeted, quote, "Nobody should be allowed to burn the flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or a year in jail." And look, it doesn't take a brainiac to know that that is completely insane. You can't take away someone's citizenship for burning the flag. You can't throw them in jail for burning the flag. That's not how this works at all. And that doesn't sound conservative by any means. It sounds more like he's trying to promote himself to king. If my memory serves me correctly, we turned our back on that kind of thing. And have we forgot what we fought for? Now, I'll agree, it hurts to see the flag burned or desecrated in any manner. I wore the uniform. I know what it means. I know what it stands for. I know what the colors mean. I get it. You don't like it. I don't like it. But that's not enough for us to toss people in jail or revoke their citizenship for burning the flag. So, how can you defend the guy who was picked to fill Justice Scalia's empty seat? Well, let's pause for a second and note what Scalia once said about flag burning. He said, quote, "If I were king, I would not allow people to go about burning the American flag. However, we have a First Amendment, which says that the right of free speech shall not be abridged. Burning the flag is a form of expression. Speech doesn't just mean written words or oral words. Burning a flag is a symbol that expresses an idea," unquote. Now, if Scalia was such a great judge as Trump once declared him to be, then this would be an open and shut case. And in the realm of reality, it is. It's as much an expression of free speech as it is for Trump to tweet whatever his little thumbs can come up with. Now, let me remind you what Dietrich Bonhoeffer once said, that not to act is to act, and not to speak is to speak. This is the very thing he was speaking of. To burn the flag is not to burn the flag. I freely fly the flag as an expression of my love and respect for this country. I freely fly the flag as an expression of my appreciation for those who've come before me and fought and defended the idea it stands for. It's an iconic symbol of everything America is. What is America? Well, if you can't answer that, then I'll just leave it right there. No, you know what? Let me ask that again. What is America? And then let me follow up with another question. What is conservative? And another. Whose side are you on? Now, if Hillary said this, she would make it illegal to burn the flag, you'd be up in arms. You'd cry out that she was taking away your right to free speech and the right to express yourself. Oh, how the hypocrisy must taste, huh? But it's different because it's Trump, right? Wrong. But that's not what he meant. But that's his tactic. Now he can make his point and somehow make things great again. Wrong! He's subject to the same rules, and when I told you we'll hold him accountable, I meant it. You don't like it? Then go find a safe place and sit down in the middle of a street and cry out, "Flames down, don't burn." Remember, this is still America, and that's the bottom line. Oh, let me jump back over into the chat real quick over on the YouTube side. John says, "I take away their flag if they try to burn the colors." I would do that too, and I think that most people know the depths that I would go to help protect the American flag. I see that our good buddy Brian Stoltz has jumped over on the KLRN side of the chat. Have no fear, Doc. The Lego miniature photographer is here. Hey, speaking of Lego minifigures, if you have missed our weekend vlog that was posted, I believe, Sunday morning, Brian, check it out. There's something special in there for you. We went to a nativity display. They call it a creche exhibit. I kind of had to ask my wife what a creche exhibit was. But she explained to me that basically a creche exhibit is a nativity display. So we went. I mean, we've gone. This was, I think, our third year going. We enjoy our time there every year. It's great. They bring in these nativity displays from all over the world. It's fantastic. And one of the nativity displays that they had was Legos. And I immediately thought of you, Brian. It was awesome. I took a picture of it. It made the vlog. So if you haven't done so, jump over to the YouTubes. Oh, I see you. You jumped over onto the YouTubes. There you go. Okay, very cool. I'll have to check it out. It really was cool. It was cute. There was a manger and everything. It was great. It really was great. As a matter of fact, I need to go back through my pictures, and later on I'll try and remember to I'll try and remember to throw it up on Instagram because I see that you, a lot of the time you're posting your Lego pictures over there, and I'll try and remember to tag you in it if you don't mind. Okay, so where were we? Let's see. Okay, we got done with the bottom line, and look, I don't even know why this is an issue. John says he doesn't like it, but they're free to do it. Precisely. I don't like it as much as the next guy. I really don't. I don't want to see the flag be desecrated. It downright hurts, man. It seriously does. And it stinks, but it's an expression of free speech. It embodies everything that America is. It embodies everything that document stands for, that our founding documents stand for. Oh, you've got that right. Just as much as the next guy has the right to rip it out of your hands, put the fire out, and probably punch you in the face. I'm not condoning that type of violence. Hashtag just saying. Okay. Let's get into our first topic. Come on, silly. Okay. The Dakota Access Pipeline path has been blocked. And I saw this in so many different places, and I saw this one just by chance over at Breitbart. I hardly visit Breitbart since they went completely pro-Trump. I mean, it seems like for every 4 or 5 posts about Trump this or Trump that, then they finally put something else out. But anyway, I'm not going to hold it against them. They can do that. I realize that they're kind of playing the game. Anyway, so the Dakota Access Pipeline, we talked about this last week, and we'll kind of get into some of it here in just a second, but the United States Army Corps of Engineers is telling the Standing Rock Sioux tribe it will deny an easement for the current path of the Dakota Access Pipeline project. And this comes as a protest organized by a Black Lives Matter activist and an LA screenwriter, which was set to take place over 4 days, where thousands are already camped out. Now, tribal members are protesting, claiming the proposed pipeline could contaminate their drinking water and that it would disturb sacred burial sites, which just isn't entirely true. They're running this pipeline, 90-some feet below the Missouri River? Anyway, Joellen Darcy, Army Assistant Secretary for Civil Works, says this: although we have had continuing discussion and exchanges of new information with the Standing Rock Sioux and Dakota Access, it's clear that there's more work to do. That was according to an NBC News report. The Sunday statement continued by saying the best way to complete that work responsibly and expeditiously is to explore alternate routes for the pipeline crossing. Now, Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Chairman Dave Archambault II stated, today, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers announced that it will not be granting the easement to cross Lake Oahe, I don't even know how you pronounce it, Lake Oahe, I think, for the proposed Dakota Access Pipeline. Instead, the Corps will be undertaking an environmental impact statement to look at possible alternative routes. I'm seeing over in the chats, John says, the media made the accusation that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers backed down. That's completely untrue. It was the White House that ordered the stand down, not the Corps of Engineers. You're very right with that, and I didn't clearly state that earlier. My apologies. Brian says he's skeptical of sacred grounds or drinking water being contaminated. Now, let me get into this, and this goes along with that. If you tuned in last week, we already know that they've tried to minimize the risk at every turn, and this included increasing pipe thickness and even putting control valves at both ends of the crossing. We also know that the Corps has consulted with, get this, 55 Native American tribes at least 389 times before, which came after they proposed 140 variations of the route to avoid culturally sensitive areas. Obviously, the time for Standing Rock leaders to voice their concerns should have been at those meetings, not now when it's almost completed. This thing is virtually 70% of the way being completed. I mean, this is like the virtual end to this whole thing. Let's see. John says the Corps said it wasn't sacred. It's only sacred to anti-development progressives. That's true. Okay. So let's see. North Dakota Governor Jack Dalrymple said the Obama administration's decision to block the pipeline is a serious mistake. His statement following the announcement, by way of the announcement that we're speaking of, is the announcement from the Obama administration to block the pipeline, reads, quote, "The decision today by the Obama administration to further postpone any action on the easement for the Dakota Access Pipeline is a serious mistake. It does nothing to resolve the issue, and worst of all, it prolongs the serious problems faced by North Dakota law enforcement as they try to maintain public safety. The administration's lack of action also prolongs the dangerous situation of having protesters camping during the winter on U.S. Army Corps of Engineers property." Listen, we get it. I mean, you want to minimize the risk of anything. The last thing you really want to do is cause environmental concerns. Now, when you couple that with trying to be culturally sensitive, it makes it very difficult. However, the Corps, the Army Corps of Engineers, has worked on this for a year and a half. All of this was already okayed and cleared. There have been many times and opportunities for the Standing Rock leaders to come forward and voice their opinions and concerns about this entire issue. This is extremely unacceptable by the Obama administration. This just goes to show that the Obama administration is doing anything and everything they can to salvage what little they have left. Army John over in the YouTube chats says the follow the money. What are the forces hold up the pipeline really asking for? It's environmental extortion, pay to play. True. Also, I need to give a shout out to Jessica. Sorry, I missed your show. I realize you are on before me, but I was reviewing some notes, doing the final touches on the festive Christmas lights we've got going on, and I had to color in the Ninja Turtle. So we've got a great group of individuals in our chat. It's nice to see everybody. But again, I have to agree, always need to follow the money with a lot of this stuff. And as we know, one of the biggest financial backers behind groups like Black Lives Matter is none other than George Soros. And earlier, we've reported that one of the protests that actually sparked this, the Obama administration's call out to stop the progress on this was organized by a Black Lives Matter activist. And we don't know who the LA screenwriter is, and quite frankly, who cares? LA is obviously liberal arts, not Los Angeles. I'm speaking tongue-in-cheek with that. But this entire thing is ridiculous. Now, Brian in the chat says he's got $1 that says the end of the money trail ends at Soros. You're probably true. The Obama trying to salvage its final days in office by way of John. John says the Obama trying to salvage its final days in office is nothing more than rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. True. Jessica says, I'm willing to bet Soros is paying the protesters. We know that, we know how many reports that have come out in the past that Soros was paying Black Lives Matter protesters. This entire thing is ridiculous. They're actually running this pipeline, this new pipeline, next to an existing pipeline. It is being ran by an existing pipeline. They're running this reinforced pipeline with valves at each end, 92 feet below the Missouri River. Jessica, I'm going to end it with that. This whole thing smells like bad, rotten fish. And with that, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I hope, you know what? While we're on break, I need you guys to go get an ice pack and sit on it, because this is going to send you through the roof. I'm sorry that we have to talk about this. It's unfortunate that we are going to, but we need it's got to be brought up, and people need to know about it when we come back.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Nothing will protect you quite like your sidearm, so why not give it the protection it deserves? Something as strong as the Second Amendment and stands the test of time, and better yet, made in the USA. A Rebel Road Tactical Custom Kydex holster is that and more. Call now and place your order with Rebel Road Tactical at 682-217-4579. Again, 682-217-4579, or online at rebelroadtactical.com.
Conservative in a world of liberal.
The Stafford Voice.
All right, we are back, and yes, you are tuned into the Stafford Voice, where we are conservative in a world of liberal, and I am your host, Daniel Stafford. Okay, get this. 4 VA employees resign after a Vietnam veteran dies with maggots crawling in his wound. This is absolutely disgusting and disturbing beyond anything you can imagine. Where do we even start with this? Owen Reese Peterson, a 73-year-old Vietnam veteran. John, I warned you, keep your cool. A 73-year-old Vietnam veteran initially went to the Oklahoma VA for an infection, which later ended up as sepsis. If you don't know what sepsis is, it's a condition in which chemicals that are released by the immune system into the bloodstream to fight an infection trigger an inflammation throughout the body. It damages multiple organs and its systems, basically leading them to fail and commonly resulting in death. Miles Deering, the director of the Talihina, Oklahoma Department of Veterans Affairs Center, confirmed the maggots found did not enter the wound after Peterson's death. They were present while he was still alive. He also stressed that Peterson, quote, did not succumb as a result of the parasites. He succumbed as a result of the sepsis. Peterson's son, Ramey Parker, described his frustration with how poorly his father was treated, saying, quote, during the 21 days I was there, I pled with the medical staff and senior medical staff to increase his meds so his bandages could be changed. That he was, quote, met with a stonewall for much of that time. The result of all of this is that 4 staff members have resigned in the wake of the investigation, a physician's assistant, and 3 nurses. Jessica, I'm warning you, put that glass of wine down. I will fully expect you to probably toss it because of this story. This is outrageous. Deering said that the agency reported the incident to the Oklahoma State Department of Health and also submitted a report to the district attorney to see if charges are warranted. You've got to be kidding me. Oh my word. Listen, the fact that we even need to submit a report to the district attorney to see if charges are warranted is beyond me. Somebody's head needs to roll. Listen, whoever it was that was responsible for allowing that man to live out his last few moments of life with maggots in a wound? Oh, my word. There are so many different things I would like to do or see done to you that would make waterboarding look like something you see on a kindergarten playground, on a kindergarten playground. Oh, my word. And as a matter of fact, I'm seeing people in the chat room, Brian and Jessica, both say that they would like to see Pete Hegseth as a good choice for the head of the VA. I would echo that as well. Hegseth is a fine gentleman. And actually, I don't have his quote pulled up, but he had a fantastic quote about this, and it just nailed it to the bone. The person, let's see, John says he's always said that the VA exists to provide union jobs and union dues for political donations to the Democrat Party. Treating veterans is only a secondary and optional function. Let's see, Brian says veteran was sepsis, which is further enraging. I completely agree. There is no reason that it should have gotten that far. Jessica says the person in charge needs to be charged with murder. Completely agree. Let's see, the VA needs to be abolished and replaced with doctors that were former service members. I could see that. Let's see. Brian says, I say those 4 need to be keelhauled. Oh. Let's see. I've been to 2 of his Concerned Veterans of America rallies. He's a class act. I completely agree. I've kept my eye on Hegseth for quite a while. And when he talks, I listen. Oh, anyway, where did we leave off with this? Oh, how Nimwad decided he thought that he needed to submit a report to see if charges were warranted. That's a great idea. The whole VA should be staffed with vets and spouses. I like the addition of the spouses. That's a great, great touch, because these spouses would never allow something like this to happen. Oh. So Deering also said that the agency is considering moving from the facility as it is nearly 100 years old, adding that fixing the existing structures would take millions of dollars. Now, this is on the heels of Deering accepting a $15,000 bonus in the month of November. But that's the hush-hush moment. We don't want to talk about that. Let's see. If it was that bad, you wouldn't have accepted the bonus. But you're just as guilty as the next guy. Let's see. I completely agree, Brian. Trump really does need to choose a 5-star VA head. I don't know who that could be. I don't even want to begin speculating, only because he has thrown out so many different wild cards in some of the spots that he has started to pick. He is blazing a trail. I mean, he is so far ahead of the pace that previous presidents have set on getting appointments set and who's going to be in those spots. Let's see. John says Arlie Ermy as new Secretary of the VA. There's a solid guy. He wouldn't put up with any crap. Let's see. Did I miss anything? The DA seems to drag its feet investigating other government agencies. They do. I mean, listen, we've talked about so much corruption and distrust, and acts like this only are another exclamation mark at the end of a long list of atrocities by way of the VA. This is beyond ridiculous. Let's see. So let's continue. Oklahoma State Senator Republican Frank Simpson, who is the Oklahoma State chairman of the Senate Committee on Military and Veterans Affairs, says this, quote, "The Oklahoma Department of Veteran Affairs is required to maintain certain staffing levels and currently is unable to meet them. At Talihina, they had to reduce the population of veterans there due to the inability to staff the facility." That's no excuse. No excuse by any means. And yes, Jessica, that's a great point. We do need somebody like Mad Dog in the VA. Brian says a Mad Dog twin. Yes. Look, you guys, throughout the years, it has always been something of comedic nature to try and keep up with all of the Chuck Norris memes and jokes that have to do with, what's one of them? Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups, he does push-downs or something like that. Chuck Norris doesn't throw up, he throws down. Those kind of jokes. Well, Chuck Norris once wet his pants, and it was because he met Mad Dog Mattis. That was one of the better ones that I saw. Let's see. There are so many good quotes that can be attributed to Mad Dog. It is that guy is a solid pick and would be a solid pick in anybody's administration. And no, he doesn't take crap from anyone. He does know how to run a tight ship. I mean, anybody that can lead the Marines knows how to run a how to run a tight ship. And yes, John, that was one of the good ones that I saw too. Mad Dog once said Chuck Norris, never heard of her. Listen, Mad Dog is the real deal. He is like a modern day Patton. Sorry, I apologize for that. I was just checking the time, and it is, unfortunately, time that we need to take another break. When we come back, we're going to do profiles in history, and then we'll see what we got left. We'll see where we're at with that. When we come back, we will cover profiles in history. Yours and my... No, it's not pie time. It's cookie time. But when we come back, I'll explain why it's going to be okay to have cookie time. We'll do that before we do profiles in history when we come back. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Conservative in a world of liberal.
The Stafford Voice.
Okay, guys, we're back, and you guys wanted to see what we've got for tonight's dessert. The understaffing. Let's see. I'm fine. Jessica's refilling her wine glass. Let's see, John. I showed you a picture of I showed you the cookies. So go ahead and be jealous. John says, nice. Oh, he can replace them. I know plenty of medics that could do 100 times better and care about the vets. Yes, true. That goes back to Jessica had said earlier, Trump needs to use his "you're fired" line in mass at the VA. John, let me get back to you being jealous. I worked my you-know-what off to be able to enjoy a cookie tonight because I weighed in this morning. I'm so proud of myself. I've finally hit the 190 mark. That is 28 pounds I've lost. I think I want to lose a few more, but for now, I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to take my time with the next few pounds. Anyway, thank you all for your guys' support in making sure that I kept my end of the bargain. I'm feeling great health-wise. It's not like I was completely and utterly obese, but I just didn't feel good. So I'm super excited to be able to start 2017 off with a bang. I just thank you for your words of encouragement. I mean, we're starting 2017 off feeling great. The show is going in great direction. Nutella cookies. Okay, Brian, do me a favor. You said you're going to check out the vlog. There's something that has to do with Nutella in the vlog. Brian knows how much I love Nutella, and Brian actually scours the internet and sends me Nutella recipes. Trying to remember if I think we've tried one or two of them. Anyway, what I did on the vlog with Nutella, you're either, if you know me, you will know exactly what I mean anyway. Nutella, nonetheless. I'm going to enjoy this cookie real quick. Oh my God. So good. I needed to dip that in Nutella. Somehow I've got to figure out a way to get Nutella to sponsor the show. That would be great. A French-owned company. Oh, wow. Cookie was incredible. Wash it down. I've got water tonight. I enjoyed a root beer earlier from Lost Trail. It was good. Okay, my apologies for that. Let's get into your favorite part. You're like the guy in the commercial surrounded by cookies but no milk. John, milk doesn't do my body good at all. I'm going to tell you that right now. My body does not like dairy. That's all I'm going to say. There really is only one milk company, one dairy company that does not give me issues, and it's rather expensive, but completely worth it, and that is Chateau Milk Company. They are I guess you could consider them a locally sourced dairy company. They're over in Missouri, about, probably 30, 45 minutes north of Kansas City, Missouri. They have an incredible product. They put them in the old style glass jars. They even have a milk delivery service where you can order your milk, and once a week they will deliver your milk and leave it on your doorstep like they used to do in the old days. And they'll even ship it to you. They will even ship you milk if you go to their website. I think it's chateaumilk.com. If any of you guys, John, if you want to throw that up out there or if anybody's willing to throw a link up there in the chat, do so, because they have an incredible product. They have a root beer flavored milk that is very, very dangerous. They have banana flavored milk. They have strawberry. They've got chocolate. They have a cotton candy milk. I haven't tried the cotton candy. There was one time where they put together a special blend, and I think it was YouTube. The tube chat hates links. Well, that stinks. Oh well, no big deal. I'll try and remember to tweet it out or send it across on Facebook later. Anyway, when the Kansas City Royals won the World Series, if I remember correctly, they had a special limited edition vanilla milk. It was blue in color. They discontinued it before I could ever make it to the store and find some. Oh, anyway, trench foot flavored milk. John, that's bad. I mean, that's like drinking powdered milk that the mess hall would put out. Oh, that's probably actually what the real technical flavor of that was. It was either filthy sock of the GI or trench foot flavor. Oh man. Anyway, we've got to get on with your favorite part of the show, my favorite part, and that is Profiles in History. Being against a revolt about unfair taxation led him to being dragged through the street in what some claim was the first battle of the American Revolution. William Hooper was born on June 28, 1742 in Boston, Massachusetts. At the age of 16, he attended Harvard University, later graduating with honors in 1760. His career path was to follow his father into Episcopal priesthood, but that didn't happen. Instead, he studied law under James Otis until 1764. He completed his bar exam and left Boston partly due to too many lawyers in the surrounding area. He would eventually end up in Wilmington, North Carolina, where he would start his legal and political rise. On August 16, 1767, Hooper married Anne Clark. In 1768, they had their first son, William. 2 years later, they would welcome their daughter, Elizabeth, followed by their second son, Thomas, in 1772. His career got a boost in 1769 when he was appointed as Deputy Attorney of the Salisbury District, and again a year later when he would be appointed Deputy Attorney General of North Carolina. Initially, Hooper supported the British colonial government of North Carolina. As Deputy Attorney General, he worked with Governor William Tryon to suppress the Regulators, which was a rebellious group who, during the War of the Regulation, took up arms against colonial officials. There were a handful of reasons the Regulators were upset: a recent influx of new settlers, an economic depression, and yes, even a little corruption and class warfare. But probably the thing that stung the most: taxes. Now, leading up to the War of the Regulation, one of the accomplishments, if you will, was the breaking up of the provincial court. And it was during this riot that William Hooper was dragged through the streets. He then advised Governor Tryon to use as much force as was needed to stop the rebels, which led to the Battle of Alamance in 1771, where the Regulators' resistance crumbled rather quickly. After the Regulator uprising, William began parting ways politically. Now, on April 26, that is, 1774, he wrote to a friend, James Iredell, saying, quote, "The colonies are striding fast to independence, and ere long will build an empire upon the ruins of Great Britain, will adopt its constitution, purged of its impurities, and, from an experience of defects, will guard against those evils which have wasted its vigor." It was his time in the Continental Congress, with the aid of his fellow delegate Joseph Hughes, that he would become a supporter of the American Revolution and independence. While there, Adams identified Hooper as one of the better orators. During his time in Congress, he was appointed to numerous committees, including the Committee of Correspondence. However, much of his time was split between Congress and work in North Carolina, as he was assisting in forming a new government. In 1775, Hooper wrote to people in Jamaica to explain the political situation and complained that the British ignored petitions for justice and saw them as signs of rebellion. He wrote, quote, "It has plunged us in all the horrors and calamities of civil war. It has caused the treasure and blood of Britons, formerly shed and expended for far other ends, to be spilt and wasted in the execrable design of spreading slavery over British America. It will not, however, accomplish its aim. In the worst of contingencies, a choice will still be left, which it never can prevent us from making. That choice was independence." Because of his ongoing work in North Carolina, Hooper arrived in Philadelphia in 76 just a little too late, having missed the vote for the Declaration of Independence on July 4th. However, he did sign his name to the document in August. In 1777, William had to return home to help his family because when the British invaded North Carolina, they burned his home in Wilmington. He had to rely on the charity of friends as he avoided capture and was separated from his wife and children. And by the time the war was over, he had lost everything but his family. After the Revolution, Hooper returned to his career in law, never regaining his place of prominence. In 1787 and 88, he campaigned heavily for North Carolina to ratify the new United States Constitution. But by this time, he had become pretty ill, having previously contracting malaria years earlier. The day before his daughter's planned wedding on October 14th, 1790, he passed away in Hillsborough, North Carolina. And despite being only 48 years old, he left a legacy of integrity and sacrifice. And that is this week's Profiles in History. Okay, unfortunately, it's that time of the show that we don't like to have to do, and that is to end it. But if you are new to the YouTube chats, and if you're new to watching, please stay. Don't go, because once the show is over, there is an after the show, and we kind of, anyway, the other friends you've met and you've been talking to can fill you in the YouTube chats. Anyway, I want to thank you for tuning in, and it is unfortunate that this is all the time we have for this week, and God willing, the Stafford Voice will be back next week. You can follow me on Twitter or Gab at Stafford Voice. Look me up on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchats, wherever you are socially by looking for the Stafford Voice. Email your questions, comments, or concerns to thestaffordvoice@gmail.com. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, please do so by heading over to thestaffordvoice.com. Also, if you've been watching and you enjoyed what you watched, please do us a favor, share it with your friends and family, hit the like button, make sure you've subscribed. I know we ask a lot, but you guys have given us so much in return, and honestly, I can't hit the like button for you. You have to do it and let me know that you like it. Again, I want to thank you so much for your time tonight, and until next week, thanks and God bless.